The Lost Book of Enoch, the truth you've never heard before. What if I told you that there is a book, long buried, shrouded in secrecy, and left out of the Bible, that holds powerful truths? A book that once captivated the hearts of early Jews and Christians, only to be labeled as too dangerous to be included in the sacred texts. And no one's talking about it. This isn't a story of a lost artifact or a forgotten manuscript. It's a story of a forbidden knowledge, a hidden truth that could change everything you thought you knew about angels, sin, and the very foundation of Christianity. Why was the Book of Enoch banned? What was so dangerous that they had to hide it? Could there have been secrets, truths about the fallen angels and the cosmic battle for humanity that were intentionally erased from the Bible? What was the reason this ancient text, laced with visions of heaven, hell, and divine judgment, was deliberately excluded from the Christian canon? What happened to make such a vital piece of history vanish, leaving behind only whispers? In this video, you will uncover the shocking truths behind the lost Book of Enoch. Together, we will uncover the secrets held within its pages, exploring its vivid depictions of angels, prophecies, and visions of the end times. You'll understand why this book once held such powerful influence and why it was rejected, even denied, by those who shaped the Bible. Get ready to dive deep into the mysteries of the Watchers, Nephilim, and the secrets of a man who walked so closely with God that he never tasted death. Enoch. Do you want to know why this ancient text is still so dangerous today? Do you want to understand how it shaped early Christianity and why modern scholars are still obsessed with it? Let's unravel the mystery together and see what truths lie beneath the surface of this lost book. Keep watching and hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss the revelations that are coming next. The mysterious Enoch, a man who walked with God, Enoch. A name that echoes through the corridors of history, yet remains shrouded in mystery. Imagine a man so profoundly connected to the divine, so righteous in the eyes of God, that he never tasted death. Instead, he was taken away, ascended directly into the heavens. In a world where every person who has ever lived has faced the inevitability of death, Enoch was different. He defied death. His journey with God was so deep, so transformative, that it altered the very course of his existence. This man did not just live and die like those around him. No. Enoch walked with God for 300 years. It wasn't just a walk. It wasn't just a relationship. It was a constant, daily interaction where the veil between the divine and human worlds seemed thinner for him than anyone else. And yet the Bible's brief mention of him leaves us yearning for more. What did he see? What did he hear? What secrets did he learn in the presence of the Almighty? His legacy pierces the fabric of time, leaving us to ponder. What does it mean to walk with God? What would it look like in your life if you, too, could have that level of divine intimacy? The truth is, the life of Enoch offers us profound lessons on walking faithfully, on seeking the divine with such intensity that our very souls align with the Creator's will. It challenges us to ask ourselves, how close are we walking with God? Are we truly open to the divine whispers that call us? Or are we too distracted by the chaos around us to hear? Enoch's story is not just one of righteousness. It's one of deep, unwavering trust and commitment. Faith. His life stands as a beacon, a guidepost to all of us who seek a deeper connection with God. In today's world where so many of us are lost in the noise of daily life, Enoch's walk with God calls us back to something sacred, something pure. His journey invites us to look inward, to examine our own lives and to ask ourselves, do we walk faithfully with God? Rediscovery of the lost text. From Ethiopia to the Dead Sea Scrolls. For centuries, the Book of Enoch lay hidden, its existence all but forgotten by the world. But like the dust of ages that hides a treasure, this ancient text was never truly gone, it was just waiting to be rediscovered. The Book of Enoch remained alive in the hearts of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, whose followers kept it sacred, preserving its teachings through generations. Imagine the power in that. This book, filled with the raw revelations of heaven and earth, preserved by those who believed it held divine truth. In 1773, the world began to shift. James Bruce, a Scottish explorer, ventured into Ethiopia, seeking to uncover the origins of the Nile. Then what he stumbled upon wasn't just an ancient land, it was the key to a forgotten past. He returned with 3 copies of the Book of Enoch, reigniting interest in a text that had long been shrouded in mystery. But it wasn't until the Dead Sea Scrolls were uncovered between 1947 and 1956 that the true significance of Enoch was revealed. Imagine the thrill of that discovery. The ancient scrolls, hidden for thousands of years, coming to light with fragments of Enoch's text among them. These weren't just any ancient scrolls. They were fragments of truth, pieces of the puzzle that connected the story of Enoch to the very heart of early Judaism and Christianity. What did this discovery teach us? It taught us that the Book of Enoch was not just a late Christian forgery as some had believed. It was an authentic pre-Christian Jewish text, a part of the early Jewish consciousness. These scrolls, buried in the caves of Qumran, offered us a glimpse into the spiritual world of the people who lived in the time of Jesus, people who were familiar with Enoch's prophecies and teachings. The question is, why was this powerful text ignored by those who compiled the Christian Bible? What was so dangerous, so disruptive, about Enoch's revelations that it couldn't be allowed into the canon? As we dive deeper into the Book of Enoch, we must ask ourselves, what have we lost by ignoring this ancient text? What truths have we overlooked because the early church chose to disregard it? The Book of Enoch is not just a lost book, it's a treasure chest of divine knowledge. And the rediscovery of it brings us one step closer to understanding the spiritual legacy that shaped early Christian thought. The Watchers and the Fall of Angels. The story of the Watchers, those divine beings who were sent to watch over humanity but fell into corruption, is one of the most chilling and profound narratives in the Book of Enoch. The Watchers were tasked with guiding humanity, yet they abandoned their posts, seduced by the beauty of mortal women. They took wives for themselves, and from these unions came the Nephilim, giants, beings of immense power and insatiable appetites. This wasn't just the fall of angels, this was the beginning of humanity's corruption. Azazel, one of the chief watchers, imparted forbidden knowledge to mankind, teaching them the arts of war, weaponry, sorcery, and vanity. Can you imagine? Angels, beings created to be messengers of God, turning away from their divine purpose and plunging humanity into chaos with their gifts of destruction. These aren't just stories, they're warnings. Warnings about the dangers of unchecked knowledge, of power that leads us astray. The fall of the Watchers speaks to a deeper truth about human nature. It's not just about the angels, it's about us, the way we often seek knowledge without wisdom, power without responsibility, and love without boundaries. The Watcher's story is a reflection of our own potential to fall, to be consumed by the very things that we think will elevate us. But there's hope in this story. The Watchers didn't escape their fate. The archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, were sent by God to bind them, to cast them into darkness until the day of judgment. What does this teach us? That no matter how far we stray, no matter how deep our corruption, there is always a reckoning. There is always divine justice waiting to set things right. And the Nephilim, they didn't vanish with the flood. They became spirits, demons who would plague humanity until the end of time. The war between good and evil didn't end with the flood. It continues, shaping the world we live in today. The Watcher's fall is a reminder that we too must be vigilant. We must guard our hearts, our minds, and our souls against the temptations that can so easily lead us astray. The Book of Enoch doesn't just tell us about fallen angels, it tells us about the dangers of allowing our own desires to corrupt our divine purpose. Are we too walking the line between righteousness and destruction? Or have we, like the Watchers, strayed too far? This story isn't just a myth, it's a lesson. And it's a lesson we must learn, because the war between good and evil is happening now, in our hearts, in our choices, in the world around us. Will we walk in the light, or will we fall into the darkness? The choice, as always, is ours. Prophecies and visions. Enoch's apocalyptic revelations. The Book of Enoch is not just a tale, it is a revelation. Enoch was not merely a man who walked with God, he was a man shown the deepest mysteries of the universe, the secrets of heaven and earth. His visions were not just cryptic images, they were foretellings of the end of days, of a final judgment that would shape the fate of all creation. Imagine seeing the world, not as it is now, but as it will one day be, in its fullest glory and its most terrible reckoning. Enoch's visions pierced the veil of time, giving us a glimpse of a world yet to come, a world we must prepare for. In these apocalyptic revelations, Enoch saw the coming of the Son of Man, a messianic figure, not just a savior but a judge, who would sit on a throne of glory to judge the wicked and deliver justice to those who had been wronged. This wasn't just a promise of salvation, but a call to accountability. The Son of Man's return would bring an end to the suffering of the righteous and the punishment of the wicked. These weren't just lofty ideas, they were divine truths revealed to Enoch to pass down to us, warnings that we can't afford to ignore. What can we learn from this today? How can we understand the timeless truths in Enoch's prophecies? The message is clear. There will be a reckoning, and we must live with purpose, with accountability, knowing that every action we take matters. Enoch didn't just see the end of days. He saw how the actions of mankind today will affect our eternity. His visions call us to reflect, to change, and to live righteously in anticipation of what is to come. The Son of Man isn't just a future event. It's a reminder that we are living today with the consequences of tomorrow. The way we live matters. The way we treat each other. The way we treat ourselves. It matters. Enoch's prophecies are not just stories. They are warnings, instructions, and calls to action that resonate through the ages. In our busy lives, we are often distracted, too focused on the moment to look ahead. Enoch's visions bring us back to a deeper truth, that our choices are shaping the future, a future that will one day be judged. Are we ready? The Book of Enoch doesn't just ask us to believe, it asks us to prepare. The New Testament connection, Enoch's influence on early Christianity. It is undeniable. Enoch's influence on early Christianity is profound. The Book of Enoch wasn't just an obscure, forgotten text. It was a vital part of the spiritual landscape that shaped the beliefs of the early church. In the Epistle of Jude, we see a direct quote from Enoch, the seventh from Adam, warning of the Lord's return with the holy ones to bring judgment to the earth. Jude, an apostle of Jesus Christ, quoted directly from the Book of Enoch. This is no accident. It speaks volumes about how deeply the early Christians regarded this text. The fact that the New Testament quotes Enoch's prophecies proves that his revelations were integral to the early Christian understanding of the coming of Christ. Enoch's vision of the Son of Man, this heavenly figure who would come to deliver judgment, was not just a foreshadowing of Jesus. It was a template that early Christians would come to understand as the Messiah. Enoch's apocalyptic visions didn't just describe a future event. They laid the foundational framework for what Christians would later come to recognize as the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Why then was such a significant text excluded from the Bible? Why was the Book of Enoch, which so clearly influenced the New Testament, cast aside by later church leaders? Some argue it was because its teachings were too radical, too uncomfortable for a church that was attempting to solidify its beliefs. The Book of Enoch offered a more dynamic understanding of the divine, an understanding that challenged the established norms of the church. It wasn't just about salvation, it was about accountability and responsibility in a way that was not always comfortable to those in power. But the truth is, Enoch's influence cannot be erased. It is woven deeply into the fabric of early Christian thought. The Book of Enoch shaped the theology of angels, demons, and the final judgment in ways that cannot be ignored. When we read the New Testament, we are reading not just the words of Jesus and his apostles, but the echoes of Enoch's visions. His revelations still echo in the messages of salvation, judgment, and eternal life that we hold dear. What does this mean for us today? It means that the truths of Enoch are not confined to the past. They are living, breathing truths that continue to shape our understanding of the spiritual world and our place in it. Church councils and the rejection of Enoch. The rejection of the Book of Enoch by early church councils remains one of the most controversial and mysterious decisions in the history of Christianity. Why was this book rejected? Was it because of its radical theology? Was it because it challenged the structure of the church? Or was it simply because it held truths that some weren't ready to hear? The Council of Laodicea, around 364 AD, was one of the first to formalize the canon of the New Testament. The decisions made there would shape the Bible as we know it today, and yet, in the midst of these decisions, the Book of Enoch was excluded. Why? The Council's rationale was clear. They sought a unified message, a message that would be easily understood, easy to preach, and safe from controversy. The theology of Enoch, with its complex depictions of angels, sin, and the final judgment, didn't fit neatly into the framework the church was trying to establish. But this decision didn't just exclude a book. It silenced a voice that had been respected by early Christians. It cast aside a text that held powerful prophecies, teachings that connected the past with the future. By removing the Book of Enoch, the church leaders of the time sealed away the very truths that had inspired so many in the early days of the faith. What were they so afraid of? Was it the mysteries of the Watchers? Was it the warnings of a coming judgment? Whatever the reason, the rejection of the Book of Enoch left a void that was never truly filled. Its teachings continued to influence scholars and mystics throughout the centuries, despite the church's attempt to push it into the shadows. The question remains, what have we lost by rejecting this book? What truths are we missing out on by only focusing on a partial understanding of early Christian thought? The rejection of Enoch is a powerful reminder that sometimes the truth isn't easy. Sometimes the hardest truths are the ones that are buried, the ones that we need to seek out for ourselves. The Book of Enoch may have been rejected by the church, but its message lives on. And it is calling us to look deeper, to understand the fullness of what early Christians believed and what they knew. The truth is still waiting to be uncovered, and perhaps, just perhaps, now is the time to rediscover it. The dangerous doctrines. Why the Book of Enoch was deemed too controversial. The Book of Enoch is not just a collection of ancient writings. It is a radical revelation that challenges the very foundations of traditional Christian belief. In its pages, we find visions of angels who descend to earth, teach forbidden knowledge, and corrupt humanity, leading to the creation of giants, the Nephilim. This story was too much for early church leaders who feared the implications it held. Why? Because it shifted the blame for sin away from humanity and onto the angels. This wasn't just another story of falling angels. It was a narrative that radically changed the way we view the origins of evil. In the Book of Enoch, humanity is not the sole culprit in the fall from grace. Instead, divine beings, sent to guide and protect humanity, abandon their posts and lead people astray. This idea shattered the conventional doctrine of original sin, where humans alone are held responsible for their fall from grace. Imagine the power in that. It is a doctrine that threatens to disrupt the entire understanding of sin. If the angels were responsible for teaching humanity evil, could we truly blame mankind alone for the chaos that ensued? Was it the sinful nature of human beings that led them astray? Or was it the divine intervention of fallen angels who sowed the seeds of destruction? This is the controversy the Book of Enoch presents. How much control do we have over our fate? If the Watchers corrupted us, then perhaps our struggles are not entirely our fault. Perhaps evil is not just a part of human nature, but is something that has been imposed upon us. This shift in perspective made the Book of Enoch dangerous in the eyes of church leaders who sought to maintain the doctrine of personal responsibility for sin. The book's view of angels teaching humanity destructive knowledge raised too many theological questions that would have unraveled the tidy system the church had worked to build. This doctrine, if embraced, would call into question the foundation of Christian teachings on free will, sin, and the human condition. It's a reminder that sometimes the most profound truths come with the greatest risks. The Book of Enoch was not just an ancient text. It was a warning, a call to understand the origins of evil and the divine battle that continues to play out in our world. The church, in its attempt to create a cohesive doctrine, shut down the conversation. But by doing so, they kept us from understanding the true depths of the spiritual war we are all a part of. Enoch teaches us that evil didn't just come from within, it was taught to us. And that means we must not only understand our actions, but also the forces at work around us. The Book of Enoch is a call to examine the hidden influences in our lives, the ones that lead us astray, whether it's through our choices, the people we trust, or the spiritual forces at play. How often do we overlook the external forces that shape our lives, thinking that we are solely responsible for our failings? Enoch reminds us to take a broader view, to see the hidden currents that guide us, and to recognize the truth that we are in a battle for our souls, one that is bigger than we can imagine. The legacy of Enoch, from ancient text to modern influence. Though the Book of Enoch was excluded from the Christian canon, its influence has never truly been extinguished. Instead, it has survived, not just in history, but in the hearts and minds of those seeking forbidden knowledge, those who understand that the truths of the world are often hidden in plain sight. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, one of the oldest Christian communities, has kept the Book of Enoch as part of its sacred scriptures for centuries. While the rest of Christianity moved on, the Ethiopians held on to it, safeguarding its powerful message. The rediscovery of the Book of Enoch in the 18th century, and later in the Dead Sea Scrolls, reignited scholarly interest and curiosity. For years, many dismissed it as a lost, unimportant text, but the findings at Qumran confirmed its authenticity and demonstrated its significant role in the religious thought of early Jews and Christians. The fragments of Enoch found in the Dead Sea Scrolls proved that this book was not just a myth, it was a divinely inspired text, one that had been read, respected, and quoted by those closest to the birth of Christianity. But why was it excluded? Why was a book that had influenced so many of the early Christian fathers ignored and left out of the Bible? The answer lies not in the book's truth, but in its power. The Book of Enoch was simply too dangerous. It held visions of a world beyond the one the church was prepared to explain, a world where angels and demons played a direct role in the creation of evil, and where judgment and divine retribution were certain. It was a book that dared to challenge the conventional understanding of sin, justice, and salvation. But the story doesn't end there. The Book of Enoch's influence didn't just fade away with the passing of centuries. In modern times, it has seen a resurgence. It has inspired spiritual seekers, scholars, and mystics who are drawn to its raw power, its mystery, and its promise of hidden knowledge. For some, the Book of Enoch represents a missing key, a lost puzzle piece that unlocks a fuller understanding of God's plan for the world. It has influenced modern spiritual movements and New Age thought, and continues to captivate those who believe there is more to the spiritual world than what is taught in the traditional church. For many, the Book of Enoch is a symbol of freedom, a declaration that there are truths that cannot be silenced, no matter how hard the world tries to hide them. The book's legacy is alive and well, not just in ancient religious texts, but in contemporary thought, in the way we view sin, redemption, and the spiritual forces that influence our lives. The real question is, what would happen if we allowed the Book of Enoch to shape our understanding of the world? What would change if we embraced the hidden truths that it offers? Truths that challenge us to rethink what we know about good and evil, heaven and hell, judgment and grace. The legacy of Enoch calls us to look beyond the surface, to seek the truths that have been hidden for so long, and to understand that the battle we face today is not just physical, it is spiritual, and it is eternal. Are we ready to face the truth? When you dive into the world of ancient texts, something incredible happens. The truth begins to unfold. And that's exactly what we're here to uncover today. We've traveled through the mysteries of the Book of Enoch, a text that has been hidden for centuries, but holds secrets that could shake the very foundation of what you think you know about sin, angels, and judgment. But now, let's ask ourselves one powerful question. Why does this matter to us today? The Book of Enoch isn't just a relic of the past, it's alive. Its messages are still echoing, still calling out, and still challenging us. For centuries, people have been searching for something deeper, something truthful, something that will shed light on the world we live in today. And the Book of Enoch offers us just that. It's not just about angels or giants. It's about how the divine interacts with humanity, about accountability, and the way we live our lives. How many times have we felt powerless? How often do we wonder why the world feels so lost? Enoch's story reminds us that the divine order is watching. The angels, the watchers, came down to earth to teach, to interact with humanity. But in their desire for power, they disrupted everything. They taught us things we were never meant to know. They brought chaos into a world that was already fragile. And now, we're left dealing with the consequences. But here's the beautiful thing. The Book of Enoch doesn't just show us the fall, it shows us the redemption. It shows us that even in the most chaotic, destructive moments, there's a way back, a path to restoration. That path is what Jesus brought. That path is what we must choose every day, every moment. But this is bigger than just understanding an ancient text. It's about understanding who we are today. The same forces, the same temptations that led the watchers to fall are still here, all around us, pulling us towards destruction. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, are we going to give in? Are we going to let ourselves be swept away by the currents of this world? Or are we going to stand firm in the light of what we know to be true? The truth that Enoch understood so deeply, the truth that our choices matter, the truth that what we do today echoes into eternity. There's a reason Enoch was taken by God, a reason he didn't taste death. It's not just because he was a righteous man, it's because he understood the weight of his actions. He understood that how you live is the most important thing. And that's the message we have to take today. How are we living? How are we choosing to walk in the light, just as Enoch did? Are we letting ourselves be distracted by vanity, greed, and lust like the Watchers? Or are we striving for something greater, something eternal? It's so easy to feel lost in this world, to feel like we're just passing through. But the reality is, we are part of something greater. There is a purpose, a divine plan, and it's waiting for us to wake up and step into it. The Book of Enoch is a wake-up call for all of us. It's a reminder that our choices, our actions, our hearts, they matter. The world is watching, and so is God. And here's the truth. You can make a difference. You have the power to change the direction of your life. You have the ability to stand strong against the forces of this world, just as Enoch did. The world may try to distract you, try to pull you down, but you have the light of God in you. You can choose the path of righteousness, and that path leads to eternal life. But this isn't just about you. This is about all of us. Every decision you make affects the world around you. You are not alone. We are all in this together. And when you choose to live a life of purpose, a life in line with God's will, you don't just change yourself, you change the world. You impact everyone you meet, everyone you touch, and everyone who will come after you. Your choices have the power to shape generations to come. So, let me ask you, how are you living today? Are you living in the light of the truth? Or are you caught in the shadows of this world? It's time to step into the light. It's time to make the right choice. And it's time to share this journey with others. If this video has helped you, if it's brought you closer to understanding the truth of who we are and where we're going, I invite you to show your support. Every bit of energy you put into this channel, every like, every comment, every share, it helps keep the light shining for others who need it. Your support, no matter how small, means the world to me. It's not about money. It's about spreading the truth, sharing the light, and creating a community that walks together in faith. So, if you're feeling the power of this message today, don't just watch. Engage. Share. Let's keep this movement growing. Let's keep pushing forward with the light of God as our guide. We are not alone. We are in this together. Thank you for being a part of this journey. With all my heart, thank you. May God bless you and guide you as you walk in His light. If this message has touched your soul, if it's helped you find your way through the darkness, I ask that you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and share this message with someone who needs it, because together we can spread the light. Together we can change the world. May the peace and love of God be with you always.